Hi, everyone. Welcome to week 2 of our groups and teams class. It has been a little bit of a whirlwind for me personally and just campus at large. There's been lots of tech issues going on. So I wanted to just provide you a quick sort of apology explanation. I broke my phone yesterday, completely shattered it, and it's unusable. And I have been unable to access basically any of my campus apps, softwares. I couldn't use eCampus. At the same time, I've been completely untethered from the world. So can't check social media, don't know if people are texting me, have no idea what's happening in the world at large, wasn't able to connect with my kiddo while they were at school today, and I drove to work in silence because usually I listen to a lot of podcasts. I'm a podcaster person. Couldn't do any of that, and it's really weird, but there's like a sense of like freedom, like, well, I'm not responsible because my phone is broken. And I keep thinking maybe I'm gonna have like a really wonderful breakthrough of, some like amazing research idea ping my brain just because I'm not bombarded. So in some ways it's also a little bit um, I don't know. It's nice. It's nice to be like unburdened by the constant barrage of information, and at the same time, if you know me interpersonally, I'm somewhat of a like highly conscientious, anxious individual. So also being disconnected from my job, it feels uncomfortable. So hoping to have everything worked out here tonight and should be back up and running. But I apologize sincerely for the disruption, and I apologize. I thought all the course materials were ready to go for you all, and then realized you couldn't access them because of eCampus issues yesterday, and I couldn't get them to you today until just maybe an hour ago. So I'm happy to extend the due date for the assignment that's coming up this week. So I'll make it due Monday night instead of Sunday. And if you haven't yet checked in with those materials, I would say just look ahead to figure out what is required. So each week the assignments change. I think I mentioned this in my introduction video last time. So it's going to be different. It's going to look different. And this week in particular, you are going to be creating a 2-slide presentation that you will sort of put together a presentation for about 5 minutes. So nothing wild. It's not meant to be super stress inducing, but the goal is to find some additional research that extends what we're talking about this week and share it with your classmates so that other people can see what cool research is emerging, and you can link it back to what we've learned this week. And so it's a good way to teach students how to go find studies, how to use that to explain how does this extend what you know? Does this counteract something that you've learned this week? Is there something that made you think about things in a different perspective, or does it offer a different vantage point or lens through which to view this content? So that is the assignment this week, is to create that quick 5-minute presentation, and you're going to post it on the discussion board. So you'll just post a link to your presentation, and then you'll be watching other people's presentations and commenting on them. So my desire would be for you to have those presentations done by Sunday so that you could then use Monday to interact and engage with each other. So part of this class, the value is not just doing the assignment. Please don't just think of this as like a to-do list, but really the engagement, a chance for you to connect and share and call out what each other are doing well, and to highlight when somebody's introduced you to something very interesting, or if they've helped you to expand your perspective. So that is the true magic. And I know to this point a lot of your classes have been methods or stat based, so you haven't maybe had as much opportunity to do some of this discussion work. So I hope it feels a little bit refreshing, maybe a little bit novel, but that's where all the magic happens. So please don't put off the responses as like, who cares? Because this is your chance to really build community with each other, and to build some partnerships with one another and find common interests and common experiences. So I want to also clarify, this week every week we sort of have an assignment due on Sundays. And then there's this ongoing journal assignment. So you'll see that it's opened up. The journal is meant to be like a running log of ideas, a running log of where you put topics that you're curious about, questions you have, things you might disagree with, something you want to know more about. You can map out studies that you think would be interesting. So it's really a place for you to show that you're thinking about the course concepts, that you're reading the material, you're thinking it through, and you're reflecting on it. So that's where this degree differentiates you, right? This is why it's not a master's program. Because we're not just doing skills training in the sense of like, know this content, I'm going to test you on it. We're at a higher level. A doc program is about generating ideas. It's not just regurgitating information, which is where we tend to see undergraduate and master students. It's about being the idea creator. It's about pushing forward novel ways of thinking. It's about asking big questions. It's about exploring and enjoying that sense of like intellectual curiosity and inquisitiveness. So embrace that. Like, you all pursued this doc program, I assume, because you have a love of learning. This is a chance to really showcase that love of learning and that the enjoyment of just thinking for the sake of thinking. And so often we're doing things to check them off a list. We're trying to get tasks done. There's always like some end point and goal in mind. And this is really to open your brain and give you freedom and space and also sort of like permission to just think for no real tangible outcome, right? You might not be producing a paper, you might not be producing a research study, but you are learning how to critically think and to think like a researcher. And like a scholar. So even if you don't go into academia and you're not doing research, those scholarly skills are still really important, and being able to step back and see the big picture and ask the big questions and find out how things are connected. That's the fun part. Like, it is so fun. I'm getting worked up telling you all about it. So I know that can feel uncomfortable sometimes for students, but the idea is that we can maybe share some dialogue throughout the next several weeks, and just to have an opportunity to have some of that one-on-one discussion that we don't always get to have in an asynchronous type course. So this week is all about how you form your team. So this is a class on groups and teams, and step one is like, get people together. And very often it seems like we pull people together because they share, like a functional unit or a functional role, or maybe they have the time, right? So we think about like, who's available or who's our go-to person, our team player. This is really going to help you understand some of those underlying traits and characteristics that make people aligned or perhaps misaligned in their approach to work. So we're going to be considering things like personality traits. We're going to be considering things like time orientation and time styles. One of my favorite things, a very good friend of mine in graduate school did all of her research on time orientation, and it's fascinating to think we have different approaches to doing work. And when you think about that, it's like, oh yeah, that seems so fundamental and obvious, but yet we don't consider that necessarily when forming teams. So this week we're focusing on, how do we form teams? Who do we bring together? And what the impact might be of certain personality traits, and do we have the right mix? And so sometimes it's not just about having expertise. Sometimes it's not just having time or bandwidth, but are you well matched to the task? And are you well matched with each other in order to enable better collaboration and facilitation to be more productive and more successful as a team? So I'm challenging you to even think about your own teams. Who's on the team with you, and how well paired are you? Are you in alignment with one another or not? And what are the consequences of that? And as you go forward and you bring people onto a team and you start creating your own initiatives and leading others, how could this information help you be better at doing so? So I'm really hopeful that this week gives you a little bit of insight into something you can practically use to make your teams more effective in your jobs or in your future jobs, and at the same time inspiring some curiosity and some inquisitiveness about things we don't really spend a lot of time thinking about because we're usually really busy doing things. So, thank you all again for your grace and your patience as I navigated these tech issues and as the university's had some tech issues. It's been a weird week. So, please know whenever these issues arise or challenges arise, I will flex with you. It's not the end of the world if we have to extend a due date by one day. Um, I'm perfectly fine to do that, reasonable to make those kinds of accommodations. So please reach out if you need me, contact me if you need anything. I'm here to help you, here to support you. And in the meantime, I'll just be reading your discussions from week 1 and responding to you and following your journals, and really looking forward to learning from you all and seeing the content through your eyes, which always helps change how I view the content and how I'm thinking about it as well. So excited to have you along for the journey. Appreciate your patience. And if you need anything from me, please don't hesitate to reach out. Otherwise, have a great week ahead. Be productive, take care of yourselves, and we'll talk soon. Bye.